never stop to notice the fire in your head, a burning so consuming, but now I understand.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 6-score walkthrough. This is the third stage. It is School 3, and that was the location of the DVD, and this is the location of the tape. A little tip here, folks, if you're having trouble landing on this and doing that, go out, remove some stats, and dump them all into your vert, because it'll help you get more air, and it'll help that be much easier. And that's a strategy that you can do for this entire game if you're having issue with certain aspects of it. If you're doing a manual challenge and you're not very good at manuals, or your character's going over the place like some kind of drunk idiot, go in, dump a few more points into that skill, and maybe it'll be exactly what you need to finish it off. That being said, you can compensate for bad stats, and you can also compensate for more difficult combos just by knowing how to play the game. And it's not really something that I've talked about too much, because I do think that this is incredibly simple compared to some of the older Tony Hawks with a lot of the stuff that you can do. But that being said, you might not have played as many of them as I have, so I should probably go through some scoring methods that I use when we do a score challenge. But for the moment, we're going to be destroying bells, which is a direct homage to the school level from Tony Hawk's 2. Because I think one of the objectives there was destroy 5 of the bells. And I get a mad vibe from this level of an older Tony Hawk, and it literally might be because it's just copy-pasted. But I don't know, guys. It's been way too long, and I've played way too many games in the interim. But we know this game is creatively dead, and we know that it shouldn't exist, but there is fun to be had. And if you are going for the scores and things, or if you're going for the achievements or the trophies, watch this bullshit. Like, there are weird moments in this game where you land stuff you should never land. So scoring. The simplest way to put this, folks, is you want to get as much of a multiplier as you can with as high of a number next to it as possible, as I do show you some perfect skills there of falling over. And on this game, the easiest way to do that is either to chain grinds around an area, or to go on to a pool, or any kind of place that has corresponding vert ramps. And then you do your stunts in the air, you revert as you land, into manual, into the next stunt, and you just repeat that. And you don't have to be precise with this. I was being super precise at first, and I had moments where the input was getting dropped, where it wasn't coming out, where I was just having trouble with it, and then I realised you can spam it. So, as you're coming down, if you mash the trigger, you are guaranteed to revert, and after that, you can even mash the manual if you want to. I don't think it's good practice, because I think it'll actually it'll breed bad habits, but if you're having issues, that's something you can do. But the fundamentals of scoring, if you hold a trick, it puts up your score higher. If you do flip tricks, they put up your multiplier faster because they're quicker. So you want to essentially, get your multiplier really high with a lot of flip tricks and a lot of, variations, and then hold your stunts and rotate to get some of those points up to cash it in. And the best thing is to probably get your special beforehand, because your special builds up so many points. Like, if you can just get a ton of points off your specials and then just focus on getting your multiplier up, you can get millions of points on this game. And it has to be said, the scores on this one are a little bit higher than some of the ones I remember playing with the scoring system that's this simple. Because Tony Hawk's 3, you could moderate moves, and I remember the cruise ship, I think its 6 score was 3 million, or it might have been 5 million, but it was easy on that game because you could grind, and in the space of a second already have 5 or 6 multipliers by changing up your grind. Same with the manuals. Like, I used to play Rodney Mullen, I used to go into the Casper with my special, and I'd just go do all the flatland tricks into all the different stuff, and you could get some really crazy scores. But with this game, that stuff doesn't happen, so you've got to focus on the reverts into manuals, into chaining things, into essentially doing a bit more simplistic stuff. And the specials do themselves. Like, you press a direction and it does a different special, but you have no control over it. So the amount of times I end up doing a fucking backwards flip when I have nowhere near the height needed to do it, and I just fall over because I didn't want it and I didn't realise that was what that direction was, is way too high. And they could completely remedy this by letting you choose. Like, my favourite thing of the old Tony Hawks was being able to choose my skateboard when I unlocked new ones, so I could have that cool thing. Was being able to pick my specials, because I had my favourite grind, which was the dark slide, and like I really liked the finger flip airwalk, and like just those moves you loved doing. And then changing my normals so that I could have the Benihana on a button I liked pressing and do a Maradona without having to... Or a Madonna, sorry, not a Maradona, my bad. Like, spells I used to... Spells. Yeah, this is all about spells, guys. But tricks that I used to be able to know where they were and go to them reliably. And on this game, like, I press several different directions and all the fucking time I get melons. Like, I get a melon pressing down, I get a melon pressing right, and then every so often I'll do a nose grab, and like it doesn't feel as good at all. But the mission right now is to do some grinding over distance, so get your multiplier up as high as you can, and then cash it in with distance grinds. As I do a Primo. The Primo's a cool looking manual. It seems to be Tony's standard special manual. I have no idea how anybody does that, dude, on a skateboard. Like, I couldn't even do the Casper, and I tried a very long time to land that, because it's so much balance. Like, you have no idea how good these people are at balancing, and I like to think I've got a pretty good sense of balance, because I don't fall over that much. Unless I say I never fall over, and then I, of course, always fall over. Which Aidan will remind me of an episode where we were on some black ice once, and I was like, oh, this is not slippy, and then I nearly broke my fucking neck, which is pretty funny. But there was the grind. Here is the ring races. So never fear these rings. They're always a pretty simple path, and they're always pretty fun, and it's just about going fast. So whenever you're not grinding or jumping, you want to be pressing the right trigger to skate faster. And just know that all you have to do here is learn the line. As soon as you know the line, it's all about that execution, and the execution shouldn't be too bad. But some of the other ones are an absolute nightmare. But these could be a lot worse and a lot poorly designed. I think that's a word. But there you go, you see what I mean? They really do flow. But if you notice, that was a really fast run, nigh perfect on the jumps and things, and I still barely managed the 6th score. Some of the scores, I think they're a little too high. They're not unobtainable, but at times you feel like, how the hell is anybody going to do that considerably faster? Like, where are the world record speeds on this unless there's some gimmick or trick or cheat? Because on some of them, it just doesn't seem possible. Like, these pool areas where you have to break stuff, they're so generous, because you can do it really quickly when you just mash the right trigger. Some of the other missions, like, you barely scrape past playing your ass off. It's really up and down. Like, look at this, we've got 45 seconds and I've almost done it. It doesn't make sense that it would give you this much time. Yeah, I barely finished the last one. I literally had 0.020 left or something on the clock. And on that one, 6 seconds, and I didn't even do a very good job. Like, it's so janky in the requirements for a lot of this. But there's clear the pool, guys. There's the achievement for unlocking the Mega Park. I do like the Mega Park, although it does have a very tricky objective on it. So, Hall Pass hoarding. Collect Hall Passes and cash them in with a high multiplier. So, I didn't really understand this one at first, but it turned out in the end, how the hell did I land that? That looked wonky. This one, collecting them is key, because they respawn quite quickly and you can get a really good path going. But I just dropped my multiplier then, which is not too great, so I'm going to try and get it back with the looks of this, by doing some flatland tricks. Nose manual again. I don't do enough normal manuals. So this is me just milking multiplier right now, so I can hopefully get on that grind without falling, but I couldn't get there, which is unfortunate. But it's not the end of the world. Although it doesn't look like my best score, does it? Here we go. The good news is, the timer doesn't matter. If you can keep a trick going and get a ton of points, like this place looks perfect, because you can just keep on going around this pool. Like, I've got more points in the last 5 seconds than I did in this entire thing. So just ignore the timer, keep your combo going, and just push through it. And look, I've done it. So I got that in literally the last 10 seconds. Because before that I was playing horrible. But it just came together and it worked. And that's literally what this game's like, guys. You never give up and you can always pull it back. But the next one is, what was that? Dodgeball Dash. So this one's tricky. You'll notice my best time there was 35 seconds and 9.9. So I've got very close to doing it, but I still failed. This is all about getting a good route and hopefully not getting an input drop here when you're doing these early ones, because it controls like shit, dude. I really don't like these missions. So the trick here is learning a path. Once you've got a path where you can consciously get to the next ones quickly without wasting time, you'll shit on this. And if you go on this and you skate to the right here, you'll come back on yourself, smash that one, and there's only the one in the middle left. There you go. So I beat it with a second or two to spare, but that is not easy, that one, guys. That one took me at least maybe 5 to 10 attempts to nail down that rhythm. And then it's all about, you know, getting that good run. And the thing that sucks about this game the most, aside from all the glaring faults with it, is the fact that it takes so long to retry. This kind of score chasing in Tony Hawk's was reinforced by the fact that it retried really quickly. They put you back in the action, you could retry immediately, and you never felt punished. This game, you spend so long fucking waiting compared to the old ones. It's disgusting. Like, there's no reason for this game to take long to load. There's no reason for this game not to run at a high frame rate. There's no reason for this game to look so fucking ugly. And then at the end of the day, it loads that long. Like, come on, dude. What are they doing? What am I doing? I don't even know. I literally have none of the... Oh, there you go. Oh, it was a combo. I was worried then, because I thought it was going to be something different. No, I got it. There you go. Just chain that stuff, you'll be fine. Pretty simple. 150,000 from one thing. Then we've got... What is that? Mandatory manual? So this one I found really tricky. I just couldn't get the grasp on how to approach it. And distance is important, but your multiplayer is as well. And the problem I had here is I couldn't get the multiplayer high enough without getting up a lot of speed and accidentally going into the cones and getting reset. So my technique here was to favour going down that little decline, which is that the opposite of an incline? I don't even fucking know. But come to the ramp, do a ton of flip tricks on the ramp, and then revert into manual, and hope to God you don't have one of those wobbly, like, high-end manuals that are super hard to control, because you're going to drop your multiplier. But it doesn't matter, because you can get it back really quickly. The problem is turning. On this game, you cannot turn quickly to save your life on your manualing, so there are times when you physically cannot turn fast enough not to go out of bounds if you're going really quick. But it's all about that distance. Get that multiplier as high as it can go, and then get that distance, get them speed boosts. And it's not that challenging. It's just, it took me easily 30 minutes just to get a good run, because I just couldn't do it. Like, I could not get the mindset of how I was meant to approach it. And hopefully now you've seen this, it'll elucidate some of the issues you might have been having, and we should be fine. Why am I still doing it? Stop, Chris, you've won. So if you're wondering, guys, I have no interest in chasing score on this game. I think it's terrible. If it was like Tony Hawk's 3, and I loved it that much, you would see me going balls out for the entire duration of time to try and chase leaderboard scores, but this game just isn't worth your time. It's not worth it at all. It's an absolute disgrace, and if the developers can't even be asked to put the time in, why the hell should we as the consumer? Like, as soon as I'm done recording this commentary, I'm probably going to play this a couple more times, this game, to finish up on some achievements, and then I'm trading it in the first opportunity I get. Like, that is my abhorrence towards it right now, because it's a betrayal. It's an absolute betrayal. But this is, if you're having trouble here, augment your speed statistic to make you go faster. And all you have to do is mash that trigger. And there you go, folks. Simple stuff, and that's the end of school. All the 6 scores, moving on swiftly to the next mission. Thank you very much for watching, and you take care now.